All right, back again with some more NBA news. This is the first time we've been on today, and a lot of stuff has happened already today. It kind of started off a little slow, but then it just kind of, as one thing happened, it just one after another, everything started happening again. So on this specific clip, we want to just talk about the Brooklyn Nets organization and what's happening right now with everything, because they've been in a lot involved in a lot of the stuff that has been in the news. And Woj just tweeted, Shams has tweeted, and stuff like that. So the first thing and the biggest thing is Kevin Durant has officially requested a trade away from the Brooklyn Nets. And some people thought that it wasn't going to happen now that Kyrie had opted into his player option and he was going to stay, and they thought they were going to run it back. But no, KD has officially requested a trade away from the organization. He will not be with them next year. So, Trent, I don't know your opinions, but there's some teams that he's listed as possible destinations. The two that he really wanted to go to are Phoenix and Miami. Phoenix, I believe, is not going to happen. We talked because the Nets want Devin Booker back in that trade, and Kevin Durant wants to play with Devin Booker. So I don't think that one's going to happen. The Miami one is a little interesting. I don't know. You can talk about some possible fits and stuff like that.
I don't think that would be possible, strictly because you got Jimmy on a max contract. So how are you going to afford to pay Jimmy and KD without giving up Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, like players like that? So
I think you would have to.
know.
Yeah, that's how they would get it done.
But they would lose, kind of like this is I can use that situation similar to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. How Mahomes has that fat contract and they can't afford to pay Tyreek Hill anymore, so they had to trade him. So it's like at this point, I don't see KD being able to pair himself with the max player right now. So he's still got 4 years left on his contract. So like he's got a lot of money to be paid out to him. So I mean, I don't, and I mean, this ain't the MLB. You don't have no salary cap. You got I don't know how it would work without trading half their team.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so one possibility that I absolutely love that I've seen is the Portland Trailblazers.
I would love to see KD play there, but again, the Nets are trying to get, they want the Nets. They're not necessarily trying to just tank, so they're trying to get in return what they're sending out. So the Blazers don't really have that to give. So
I saw a trade package earlier that I thought was pretty fair, and I don't know exactly what was in it, but it consisted of a lot of the Blazers' young talent, and some picks and stuff like that. And then, but I don't know. I like it because for me personally, when I saw that Dame and Nurkic had both posted KD in a graphic in the Portland Trailblazer uniform next to Dame and stuff like that, like I was like, man, that would be scary. And so I like the idea of it. I think it's my favorite possibility, but we'll see what happens with that. I don't know.
It's tough to judge because we don't have a lot to go off of other than the two teams he said he wanted to play for. I don't think he's necessarily came out and said he wants to play for Portland. I think that was more of like a Dame trying to get him like, hey KD, come over here, bro.
Yeah.
Like we'd be nice, which I think they would, but like I said, I don't. If the Nets are wanting Devin Booker in return, I don't think they're going to settle for a young talent, and that's just how I feel about it. Like, I mean, who are you going to get? CJ Ellaby, Anthony Simons, maybe that'd be a good one. But I mean, getting, the Blazers,
Little,
yeah, but the Blazers don't have a lot of good young talent. They have a few decent ones that may show some potential, but like I think the only one worth even mentioning is Anthony Simons. And I don't think that's something the Nets are willing to just hang on to because they said their whole team is open for trade, right? So that I just think that's like like I don't think they want to tank. Like I think they believe they can still contend, which is weird to me. You're literally losing two of the best scorers in the NBA, and you're just like, yeah, we still want to be good though. Like I don't.
Yeah. No,
But
I agree with you.
I will say, it's fun to sit here and just talk about possibilities. But what's even more fun is talking about places where I think KD should go and how I want him to go. And I have three in mind off rip. One, Portland, obviously. I would love to see Dame and KD together. Dame has never in his life played with another player equally as good as him or half as good. You know, CJ McCollum was good, but never been an all-star. So, you know, can't
And
really
he
sit
should
here
have
and
been. That's a Northeast Ohio boy.
I mean, maybe he should have been, but the West was stacked for so long when he was
Yeah,
there.
no, I agree. I agree.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got James Harden over there, D Book, Donovan Mitchell. Like he just can't shine, you know. But I would, like I said, I'd love to see KD over there with Dame and Joe Ingles. I think I think I think that would just be interesting to see KD, you know, play over there with him. But another one I'd like to see is him to go home and play with Beal in Washington D.C. I think the Wizards could do something special with Beal, KP, and KD on the same team, and
Yes.
you know they have some decent young talent. You know, Denny Avdia is not great, but if he learns under KD instead of whoever's their starter,
He
come
would
on,
probably get traded in that package, I'm assuming.
Avdia probably that or Rui. I think Rui would be more enticing than
or both.
that's fair, but
Yeah.
you can't just give up all your bench depth. It's more probably like I honestly would trade Will Barton and Rui and like their first round pick for the next 2 or 3 years to get, you know, KD and you know maybe a
they're going to
couple.
be asking a lot more than that. You got to remember
I know, yeah,
that Paul George was traded for like 6 first-round picks last year.
yeah,
Or not last year, but the year before, or whatever it was.
yeah, a few years ago. Yes, I know that.
So we got to understand
But
the
you
asking
gotta understand,
price.
the Thunder were trying to rebuild. Like I said, the Nets are like, hey, we want to win right now. Like we want to contend a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think that Rui Hachimura and Will Barton is going to do it for them in terms of winning now.
No, but neither is a first round pick because then you have to tank. Basically, you don't have to tank. But if you're trading KD for some picks, you're not trying to win right now. And then,
I
like I said, the
think
Nets want to win some games.
Thomas Bryant would probably be in that trade.
I
I
wouldn't
would,
mind that because Daniel Gafford is solid.
yeah.
I
Or
was
Daniel
so
Gafford,
so
somebody
mad.
like
I
that.
was so mad the Bulls traded Daniel Gafford. So mad. He was nice. I liked him a lot.
Okay, and
But
then do you have a third one?
my third team would be trading him back to OKC. Do you know? First of all, I love SGA. That is my guy. I'm a big Kentucky guy, and I told Alex he was going to be good in the league, and Alex thought I was crazy, and here we are.
Yeah.
SGA is legit. Now he probably won't be an all-star anytime soon because again, the West has some good guards, but dude can hoop. Dude's a bucket. And
Yeah.
pairing him with all the young Trey Man, dog. They have, they have a
Dog.
lot of good young talent and picks for years, literally years. So even if like they're decently good with KD and Shy and all that young talent, they'll still have a decent pick because of the fact that they have all those picks.
Yeah, I agree. And
So
the one other team I would like to mention in this, and you might call me crazy, and I really don't think this is gonna happen, but I'm calling it a possibility, is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
oh, here we go.
All right,
David with the Cavs talk.
look, and I know I'm wearing the shirt. I know that I'm a big super fan and all that, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But in terms of when we're talking about fits, I mean it. They need a wing. They need. They're looking to win now.
Isaac Okoro's not good enough for you, bro.
All right, don't do that to me, dude.
Or Chetty Osman.
Yeah, well, you're proving my point, and so so like I get they drafted O'Shea Abaji, like they'd probably have to give up some picks, maybe even O'Shea. You're looking at probably giving up Colin Sexton, probably giving up Okoro.
I would 100% give up Agbaji, Colin Sexton, and my kidney to get Kevin Durant on my team. So I really don't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah, no,
I just
And for me, you've got DG, you've got Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert will probably be in the trade. You've got
Karras back to the Nets, full
yeah,
circle.
yeah, that'd be kind of crazy.
They did him dirty, but like, hey, we miss you, buddy. Come play for us. Stupid.
And then you've got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and so adding a solid wing in that mix because he could Kevin Durant, although he's almost 7 feet tall, he can play the three and play it well because he can score.
He's been a three his whole career.
Yeah, and
It's
he's like a 3-4, but he wouldn't have to play the four because we've got Evan Mobley.
Yeah. And don't forget the Nets do have Ben Simmons. So like I said, they're not trying to tank because they think if you get some players that can play with Ben Simmons and mesh well,
Yeah,
they'll be decent. So
I think that Colin Sexton could play with them. I think Isaac Okoro could come off the bench and provide a little something for him.
I think Ben Simmons is one of those players that if you're going to build around him, you need shooters because we know he cannot shoot to save his life. So he can drive, play defense well, you know. But like I said, he needs
of shooters. To make the deal happen anyway for Cleveland, you would have to trade away Kevin Love, because that's how you match the money.
Yeah, his contract is fat for someone who plays 15 minutes a game.
Oh, don't do that. He doesn't play 15 minutes a game.
He was solid. He had a bounce back year. I like him.
He was like second in the sixth man of the year voting this year.
He was decent. He was decent. And I think, injuries the past few years have kind of hurt him and held him back. And I think this year he found a role on the bench that was like, all right, I can do this, Like the Cavs found their point guard and their power forward of the future, So Kevin Love's kind of just there to.
They've got their point guard, their power forward, and their center. So they need they need to develop that 2 and 3 spot. I think Abaji could be good, but
obviously when
KD,
Colin Sexton,
I mean,
yeah, KD would help that team a lot, and not necessarily. I think him and DG would be pretty nice together.
Yeah, because it would allow DG to facilitate more. Because DG is a phenomenal true point guard.
He is.
But he also can score the ball at a very high rate.
He did. He averaged like 23 a game this year or something like that. Like he was no scrub on the scoreboard.
And he averaged like 7 or 8 assists too.
Yeah. So here's my thing. So obviously, I think for KD to succeed, he needs to be with at least this point in his career, he's not nearly as explosive as he used to be, right? He can still score, but I think the Celtics kind of figured him out because he's not as quick because he tore his Achilles, So that's just naturally you're taking a little step away.
Yeah.
That's kind of what derailed Kobe's career. Now, I'm not saying KD's going downhill, but he's kind of flatlining. Like he's not super dominant, but he's not terrible. Like he was an all-star captain, so it's not like he's a scrub. But if you're Phoenix, do you keep Chris Paul and trade Devin Booker to get KD? Would you do that if you're Phoenix?
That's tough because the whole point of KD saying I want to go to the Suns is because he wants to play with Devin Booker.
But we don't know that for sure. We just know he said Phoenix and Miami. We don't know if it's because he wants to play with D-Book or Chris Paul or both, or if he wants to play with Jimmy or we really don't know.
Yeah, I think if you take the player out of the equation, I think it's a good fit. I mean, if you're playing beside Chris Paul, you've got to. I think Ayton's going to be off that roster, so you're going to have a different center. But there's going to be a solid center that you're playing with.
I think the Suns have the best package for most teams because let's say they trade D-Book for KD. They're going to probably throw DeAndre Ayton in there too. Let's be real. And
I don't think so.
I mean, you could throw KD and Claxton in there. Boom. Get D-Book and Ayton in return. And then the Suns have Ben Simmons, and then they have D-Book, DeAndre Ayton. Like, that team is still decent. And if they don't end up trading Seth Curry and they re-sign Patty Mills, that team could be good. And the Suns would still be good. Like, Chris Paul makes everyone better. Or not even DeAndre Ayton, but you can throw in Mikal Bridges in there. That's D-Book and Mikal Bridges. That is a phenomenal trade for Brooklyn if they do that.
Yeah. And then also what I've seen is right after KD requested the trade, Brooklyn traded a first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. So, I think that might mean, okay, now that KD is definitely going to leave, we're going to need to bring in some depth at the position, so that way they can make up. I mean, you can't make up for losing KD. KD's he's Kevin Durant. I mean, you can't replace that, but you can sure try to provide depth and make it not as impactful of a loss. And I think that's exactly what they're doing.
I honestly think they brought in Royce O'Neal as more trade bait. Like, hey, we can
It's
throw Royce
possible.
O'Neal in with the package for Kyrie or KD or anyone, because they said they will trade everyone if they have to. So,
Yeah,
you know,
but
I think Royce O'Neal is more of like a trade bait.
yeah, I disagree. I think that just because of when it happened, because it was like KD requested the trade, and then right after Brooklyn got on the phone and made this trade to get Royce O'Neal. So I think that it's for the position. You could be correct. I think it's for adding depth to the roster, and then we can see what happens after that. I think that maybe they could have made the move in the first place to add depth, but then a trade comes up where he fits in well with the trade and they trade him away. Either could happen, but it's
Right.
an interesting piece of information. And then just Brooklyn saying outright, like, we are everybody is on the trade block. And I seen this includes Kyrie Irving, even though he opted into his contract.
Well, Kyrie opted in because he wanted to play with KD. And then KD said, yeet, bye, I'm leaving. And I did see on Twitter where this is just a rumor. It was Bleacher Report, and they're pretty whack, so I don't really trust it. But they said that KD and Kyrie do still want to play together, but just not in Brooklyn. So
yeah, I don't think
if
it can.
that's true,
I don't think it can happen next season, because if you're trading both of them, then there's no way you're going to package those two together to get a good package in return.
yeah, unless you
So
really trade them to like a team that is just terrible, like OKC or Orlando, all that. They got the young talent and picks for days. So that
yeah,
is, and if they, I think the only way they trade both of them to the same team is if they want to rebuild, and I just don't think they want to do that. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
do you
That
want to?
Sorry, go
Do
ahead.
you want to? Do you want to end this little clip with where we think both of them will end up?
Yeah, sure. So you talking KD and Kyrie?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go. I think KD ends up. I think KD ends up in Phoenix, or Portland. My two guesses. I think it's kind of even for me. And then Kyrie ends up a Los Angeles Laker.
You think Kyrie goes to the Lakers, huh?
I think that even though they couldn't get anything done as of right now with a sign and trade, I think that the Lakers now use the fact that Kyrie only has 1 year on his contract to leverage and give them Russell Westbrook, and throw in a couple picks in there, and throw in like a THT and stuff like that, and just throw in some role players and get Kyrie in there to play another season with LeBron.
All right, I can get behind your reasoning for that. I'm gonna do some hot takes just because I want to be different, add some controversy, spice it up. Um, I think KD is gonna get traded for the best package that they can be offered. So with that, I'm gonna go Miami. Um,
Okay.
I think Miami has one of the deeper rosters in the league, and they can throw in Tyler Hero, who said he wants to start, and no better way for him to start than get traded for KD and go to play for Brooklyn. Um, so but I do think it'll have to be like a Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, a few picks, and maybe Vic Oladipo for KD Claxton. Like I think KD and like one of their younger centers will get traded, so that way they don't just lose Bam. Like but I think to get KD for Miami, you have to give up Hero and Bam at like just those two have to be in the package, regardless who else you're giving. Like those two have to be given up to get KD, and then I think Kyrie will get traded to the Knicks. I think they just cleared up all that cap space. Just say Jalen Brunson, come here. Jalen Brunson, we want you to be the best point guard in the NBA. Like, bro, he's not gonna do that. And if he does, cool. But I think Kyrie might go there, and him and Jalen Brunson are gonna be smooth with it. But I think the Knicks have to give up like Julius Randle, which they need to do anyways. He's awful. I think they need to give up Randle. They need to give up like Mitchell Robinson. You know, they need to give up Cam. They probably could trade Cam Reddish. They don't play him anyways. You know, if you give like a Cam Reddish, Julius Randle, and or RJ Barrett package.
Oh.
But you're getting Kyrie. If the Knicks want Kyrie that bad, you got to make sacrifices.
I'm sorry, I hate your take.
You can hate my take all you want, David. That's the point. I'm just saying here, I think the Knicks should get Kyrie.
I think you're slow, but that's besides the
I'm
point.
so slow. You're right. Hey, Kyrie to the Knicks, regardless.
Okay, yeah.
How it happens.
I know you're going to be wrong, and you deep down know that you're going to be wrong. But if
I think we're both going to be wrong. He might end up in freaking Toronto for all we know. I mean, I don't.
All right, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end the clip on that. We've got some more stuff coming up for you today, some more news, and hopefully Alex Andrews, our partner in crime, will be joining us a little bit later. But currently, he's hyped up on some laughing gas. He got his wisdom teeth removed, and he's napping off all that gas because yeah, he talked to both of us earlier, and let's just say he's not in the right frame of mind to film a podcast.
Not even close.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll be joining us a little bit later, but as of right now, we just got this going, and yeah, we'll see you guys later for some more clips.
You're